Hi guys, Forgetful Scholar here. Let's chat about books. So this week is Outlaw, Trial for Murder, and Stalker for the Win, I guess. Okay, so look at my hand. So this first book is Johanna Lindsey's Wildfire in My Arms. That is a handsome man on that cover. So this actually kind of slipped by me. So this is a new Johanna Lindsey for me. It's not exactly new. I think it came out. I really should pair these kind of things, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? In 2016. So this for me is a 5-star. I really liked it. I really liked it. Okay, so this follows Deegan and Max or Maxine. So, and this is an FM historical. So Deegan is a gunslinger in the West. This is like the Wild West. I don't know if I accidentally tossed that or just dropped that or... Okay, anyway. So this takes place during the Wild West, and Deegan is the fastest gun in the West. And I really liked his character. It's the standard, stereotypical, like, silent, brooding kind of character. But I guess I haven't read one of those in a while, so I really enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So he runs into... he wants to see the country, and you find out a little bit more about him and his family and why he's out west, because he's originally from Chicago, very prominent family in Chicago, and he was a secondary character in a book before that. I believe it's One Heart to Win, I think. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself if I remember to correct myself. Let's see what happens. So he was sort of in the first book he showed up. He's a secondary character that's hired to kind of keep the peace between two warring families, feuding families. So he's kind of set to travel the United States. So he's headed north towards California, towards the West Coast, but the northern route. And he ends up in Helena, where he bumps into his U.S. Marshal friend who has a family and is going after some guys. And his friend is like Marshal Hayes. He's like, hey, can you do me a favor? My mom is dying and I really need to collect 3 more bad guys. I saved your life once. Can you help me out? And he's like, I don't remember you saving my life, but I'll help you out. So also with Deegan's POV, we get that he doesn't want his friend, who has a family and everything, going after Red Charlie, who is this sort of terrorist guy who bombs places with dynamite and things like that. So we get a sense that, like, yeah, he is a gunslinger and the fastest guy in the West, but he also has a conscience. The first 2 chapters, I think. First chapter, there's a young gun trying to make a name for himself and is like, okay, we're gonna, at noon, high noon. And he's like, no, take the bullets out of your gun and let's see if you're fast enough. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to kill this kid that just wants a name for himself. So he kind of intimidates him into going away. And the thing is, Deegan is the fastest gun. Like, the gun, like, just seems to materialize in his hand. You know what I mean? So he decides to become he's deputized as a U.S. Marshal, and he goes to collect these outlaws. That's where Max comes in. And she's called Max. Her name is Maxine. She's called Max. And she's wanted for murder and bank robbery. And she's disguised as a boy, or like a man, but since she's a woman, people mistake her for a young him. Now, Max is kind of a different character. Like, she's a tomboy, but that's not kind of the different character. She's an optimistic tomboy. Like, she's been living on the run for 2 years, and she still finds things funny, laughter. She laughs at herself. You know, I really liked how she was sort of so upbeat, even though all these horrible things have happened. And her circumstances are pretty good. Like, the wanted for murder, what happened there wasn't comedic, but the bank robbery accusation is pretty comedic. So I'll let you guys discover all that stuff. So he captures her, finds out him is a her. He's pissed. He doesn't know what to do because deep down he was raised as a gentleman, and the idea of throwing a woman in jail doesn't quite sit right with him. So he's still kind of undecided. Now, uh, I loved the progression of them enemies kind of to falling in love, and the gunfights were so much fun. I did wish the gunfights were from Deacon's point of view. You don't get his point of view, you get Max's point of view of Deacon's gunfights. And so it's kind of like you're watching the gunfights on a television show or something because the way she sees them, and it's so much fun. There's still a lot of fun. There's still a lot of fun. Uh, you get, I think, three really fun, really interesting gunfights, and one gunfight that the guy had dynamite. So that's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of action in this, and it's a lot of fun. The resolution. I mean, that's the only way it really could have ended. There's a forced marriage in there somewhere. You find out why Deegan left because there's a character, his ex-fiancée, that shows up, Allison, and Johanna Lindsey does a really good job of you disliking Allison. Sorry to all the Allisons out there because I've met some really nice ones, but this Allison's a bitch. Okay, so you find out about Deegan's past. The resolution's really good. I love the romance. It's really cute. I really loved it. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. So that's for that one. Okay, and the next one, it's MM, Paranormal Contemporary. I think that would be, it's always hard when the romance has H.P. Lovecraft lore. Like, where do you put that? Celestial horror romance? I'm not sure. So it's Kraken, My Heart, A Sucker for Love Mystery by K.L. Heirs. There we go. Heirs. Yeah. There we go. And I read the first one. That was the one I didn't really enjoy. I kind of skimmed over the love scene because it wasn't... Weird tentacle sex is my thing. So I skipped over those love scenes. This one is on trial for murder. So this starts off where the other book left off. Ted. So it's Ted. That is the human. He works in funeral homes collecting bodies to bring to the funeral house. He's not an embalmer or a coroner or anything like that. And he seems pretty normal, you would mistake him for silenced. And in Silence in this universe, which I really love the magic system in this universe, are people who don't have magic. And he seems a pretty normal guy, except he sees ghosts. So that's a thing. And there's like a little hint in there. Again, this is the second book from this author, so I'm not sure if they're giving hints on future stuff yet. I'm not sure. But they did mention how Ted seems to be a little above average strength, even though he doesn't work out and things like that, because he's always working. His roommate has a cat that just despises him, Mr. Twigs. And Mr. Twigs, after like an incident at the house where the cat bites him and he like moves his leg spasms and the cat hits the wall and he's like, oh my god, little dude, I'm so sorry, you okay? I didn't mean for that to happen. It was like a complete accident. He didn't kick a cat. It was a complete accident. The cat turns into a human, a naked human, and sends a portal and sends him careening to Zion. Now Zion is the bridge between the human world and the afterlife, where he lands on a dead body and is covered in blood. Because of Zion laws, he now stands trial for the murder because he has blood on his hands. And he's like, dude, this guy was dead before I showed up. What the hell? And he meets the king of Zion, Grell, who is really wacky and funny and kind of over the top zany. And like, I think the author did a really good job of with this character, because this character could so easily be just cartoonish or buffoonish and you don't care about them. You know what I mean? But I think this author did a really good job with it because I liked the king. I thought he was funny. I thought his sensitive, serious I thought his serious moments were badass. I thought his serious sad moments were really touching. Um, so that's interesting. So the king is like, "Oh, you're hot, so I'll be your defense attorney." And he's like, "Why am I tried for murder?" So through happenstance, the king finds out that he could see ghosts, and he's like, "Well, that's really rare." Um, and it seems the silenced aren't going to Scion. Someone's stopping that, and there's a whole um, royal government conspiracy because not only is he tried for one murder, but he happens upon a second body and is accused of that murder as well. So it's so the whole time Ted is sort of like panicking because he's gonna like be sentenced for a lifetime in prison in Zion and he didn't do this. And the king, who is a defense attorney, seems to be more interested in getting him into bed than actually helping him prove his innocence. Uh, I know Grill doesn't sound charming, but he is. He is charming. Again, the sex scenes were like, okay. They weren't weird tentacle sex. like the last one. Um, but for romance, I don't mind if I'm not really into the love scene. If the world around it, the characters, and the story are good and still have me hooked. That's what this was. It's everything had me hooked. There is an overarching storyline with the god of healing, and he might be breaking the treaty between King Grell's people and the gods. And Grell, he is basically like they changed to huge cats with sort of tentacles here and there, but huge cats. Um, so that's interesting. And apparently, Ted's roommate, a silence named Jay, is the key to saving the world. And that the cat that shoved him into this portal is King Grell's son, and he's there to protect the roommate Jay. Now, the overarching mystery about the silenced souls and this lesser but really got me hooked in mystery about Ted isn't exactly solved in this book. So I'm hoping the third book it is, and it seems like the third book and the second book kind of are going on at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to that because I'm really interested in Ted's mystery, like how he got the power to see ghosts because he was silenced for a very long time, and I'm really interested in to know about the silent souls and who's basically uh, kidnapping them. So this is it's got me hooked. It's got me hooked. So this one, I think I gave it what did I give it? So it's got me hooked. So this one I gave 3 stars to because I find it very interesting, and I want to keep going. I want to know about Ted and like how he sees ghosts. I want to know what's happening to the silent souls. So I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm gonna keep going. So the third book would be Stalker for the win, I guess. And this is his Human Stalker, Monsters Love Curvy Girls, Book 6 by Michele Mills. Now, I love her face in this. And they actually go into the book how she has resting bitch face and she can't help it. Amelia. So it's Amelia and Bane. And Bane is the younger brother of the alien from the last book, Thane, who's the Fire Lord. So he's the younger brother who is a famed fire biologist. Now, Amelia, it's so complicated because I like Amelia's character. She's a badass. She's a private investigator. She does some really cool things in this, like she parachutes at night in the middle of the wildlands to, watch her assignment, which is Bane. That's her assignment. She freely admits in her POV that she has become a stalker, that she would continue to watch him even without getting paid, and that when she was going through his house, she sniffed his pillows and imagined like where the nursery would be. So this is kind of in the vein of the second book where it's like, what the fuck is going on? Just kind of for me, kind of crossed the line to creepy a little bit. Not as bad as the second one, but definitely more than the other 4 books um in this series. The other books in the series. Uh like what the hell? Like she really goes kind of notice me senpai, notice me kind of a thing, which is like this is I don't know what's going on. Okay. Um so the day she has to leave, Molten Lava dropped her off, and Molten Lava is going to come pick her up. And the day she leaves, she breaks her ankle, and he finds her. Uh, Bane finds her and takes her back to his tent where he's studying fire beasts because they're going extinct, and he's trying to preserve them. And she's really confused at who hired her because usually she's hired to find information about bad guys. Like she's never hired to find information on the innocent, and he is completely innocent. There's nothing shady about him. Through and because Molten Lava doesn't know that she's a private investigator, they just were hired to drop her off and pick her up. They send a message to Bane and they're like, hey, have you seen this human? She missed the drop off. You know, we were hired to drop her off. Is she okay? Because when Bane finds her, she uses her cover story. And she's like, oh, yes, I'm an intern. And I was hoping to work with you. So he knows that she's lying. And I do like that for most of this book, he knows that she's lying. Because I kind of, the whole like, one person's lying and then they reveal it and that's the third act conflict. I'm just a little tired of that. A little bit, you know what I mean? So I like that they didn't go down that route. I do like that she acknowledges that she's a stalker. When she comes clean, and there's some scenes that she has to like, she's berating herself because she falls back on her training as a private investigator and keeps stuff from him. She's like, no, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the truth. So I do like that she kind of mentally has to fight herself to do that. You do find a lot about New Earth in this, which I really, really liked. And for that reason alone, it's a 2-star. Well, I do like the characters. I liked Amelia. I think she's badass. I don't like that she's a stalker. Like, the stalker part knocked it down to a 3. For me. If you don't mind that kind of trope, cool. For me, so they're trapped in his tent because it's the rainy season for a while, just the two of them. And they find a lot in common, and she introduces him to Star Trek Next Generation, which I thought was really cute as a Star Trek fan. I like that. So things like that. The ending is very cute. They end up together. Obviously a happy ending. It's very cute. This is FM alien romance. Again, I was sort of like, okay, the writer's going a little crazy like they did on the second book again. All right. Let's see what happens. Again, I do like that she acknowledges that she became a stalker. But still, I was like, still, it's kind of not okay. Stop being so notice me, senpai. It's creeping me out. Okay. So, and I did like this one. She knew what the race looks like. I hate that when they know what the race look like, when they transport to the planet, they still freak out. Like, you know already. Like, that's getting a little old. But anyway, so this is 2 stars. So that's that. So that's that for this week. So, I don't want to, but I have to get back to the real world. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.